quick question. Oh, well, this is a lead into a follow-up. If hypothetically somebody were to teach a guy to make nail bombs, and that guy were to go out and use that to kill a bunch of people, is the person who taught them somewhat responsible for that action?
No.
Why not?
Well, this goes back to the same idea that a lot of liberals have of gun ownership, right? Like, you allow people to buy guns. They say that right there is bad. Hold the gun manufacturers accountable, hold the gun stores accountable, because people commit mass shootings. So yeah, just because you teach somebody a skill set, kind of like my point earlier, the Marine Corps teaches us to kill, but the Marine Corps is not responsible for Marines in history who have committed mass shootings.
Okay, so obviously, well, the Marine Corps is partially responsible for that, I would say, because they certainly gave them the skill set by which to commit those actions. And as a follow-up question, do you in your program teach men that they ought be virtuous? And if so, what framework do you, by what framework do you decide what virtue is?
So I disagree with the first point that you made there. So let's agree to disagree on that one. See, second one. So sorry.
Well, the Marine Corps doesn't teach Marines to go.
Adam, you got to make it quick.
Yeah,
so if you have a second
your
question, you got to ask it
Okay.
fast, man.
Reiterate your second again, please.
Do you teach virtue in your course, and if so, what's your standard for virtue?
So I guess in a sense, I am teaching virtue. Do I have a foundation such as, like, a church or some type of gospel that I'm teaching this virtue based off of? No. I've been around the world twice. I've lived a lot of life at my young age. So I'm kind of learning as I go. And what I have learned is basically what I'm trying to teach people.
Okay. What virtues do you teach, man?
We didn't hear that last thing there, James. You cut out the last word, so you know.
Virtues?
Oh, I cut out?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit more too now.
Yeah, go ahead, Adam. The question. Make it quick.
What virtues?
So for example, showing women respect, being an incredible, well-rounded man. That's a couple examples of some virtues.
You consider those to be virtues? What do you consider virtues to be?
Yeah, that's why I asked for the standard.
Yeah, what do you consider virtues to be?
Clearly.
Sorry, you're cutting out. What was that?
What do you consider virtues to be?
In what sense?
In the sense of what you consider them to be.
Like, as far as what I'm teaching?
As far as what you consider virtues to be. Because you said you're teaching men and women virtue. Okay. What are virtues from your worldview? What are they?
Like, are you saying based on like a foundation of what I...
No, I just want to know what you consider virtues. Like chastity, for instance, would be a virtue.
Mm-hmm.
Temperance, that would be a virtue. What do you consider virtues to be?
You know what? Give me a minute to think upon that one, and I'll give you a better answer.
So you're teaching virtues, but you can't think of any that you can give us?
Well, I'm having a hard time understanding like the context of what you're saying. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but
okay,
I don't want.
I can make the argument more clear. First of all, the Marine Corps analogy doesn't work because members of the Marine Corps are not told to randomly go murder people. That's not a part of the training. They're not trained to do that. In fact, if they were to do that, they would be going against their training. So really what you're saying is if somebody uses their training to go against their training, then they're doing something bad. Well, but yeah, that doesn't really make sense.
Andrew, can I help this poor man quickly?
Quickly.
James, a virtue is a positive characteristic, the ensemble of which produces a good person. That's what a virtue is. So he's asking you, do you have a particular set of those that culminates in a good person? What are they?
Oh, okay. So like, I was overthinking that one. Yeah. So again, like I said, earlier on in the interview, being able to, be able to establish some type of moral foundation for yourself as a man. I think being physically strong is important. Going out there and experiencing the world is going to be important. And if you could be a man who is, good with women in general, then it's going to have a lot of positives for you in your life, because you're going
So what's the moral foundation?
Again, I don't conform to any particular religion. I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in a God. But I have kind of established my own foundation based on my life experience.
So the moral foundation that you follow is do as thou wilt, or?
No, so you don't want to harm others, right?
Okay, well then that would be a foundation, right? So there'd be some principle. There'd be some principle which would be underneath it. That's what a foundation is, right? So what is the thing underneath? Because you said it's very important for men to establish a moral foundation. So what would that be in James Devin Johnson's worldview? What is that foundation that you're appealing to?
To do right by others, to be strong, to be, overall like a well-rounded, just capable individual. There's many different components that go into it, and I could take, religious examples and throw them in there too. But essentially, do right by yourself, do right by others.
Okay.
So Adam, I can't, man. I can't. I'm sorry. I gave you as make it very, very quick, bro.
My criticism is you have no moral basis for your teachings. You allow people to use them for whatever you want. You don't tell them to use it morally. Therefore, you're effectively doing the same thing as the guy who trained somebody to do a nail bomb without telling him this is how you use it, this is how you don't use it. That's all.
All right.
I bet those glasses make you see better.